In Leviticus chapter 23, verses 33 and 34, we read, "The Lord spake unto Moses, saying, Speak unto the children of Israel, saying, The 15th day of this 7th month shall be the Feast of Tabernacles, for 7 days unto the Lord." This is perhaps a lesser-known holiday for some of us, but in the time of Jesus, and for many Jews today, it was one of the biggest annual festivals. Let's look at 3 elements of this feast that were established by the time of Christ. First, water. The Feast of Tabernacles lasted for 8 days, and on the first 7 days, there was a water-drawing ceremony. Each day, a procession of priests walked from the temple to the pool of Siloam. There would be singing and dancing. Think of something special like a holiday parade. This was a big deal. A priest would draw water from the pool of Siloam, and this water would be taken back to the temple for a special ritual. This happened on the first 7 days of the Feast of Tabernacles, but not on the final day. With that context in mind, come with me to John chapter 7. It's the Feast of Tabernacles, and Jesus is in Jerusalem. Note how John 7, 37 and 38 have additional meaning in context of the Feast of Tabernacles. We read, "On the last day of the festival, the great day, while Jesus was teaching in the temple complex, he cried out, 'Let anyone who is thirsty come to me, and let the one who believes in me drink.'" On this final day of the feast, when there was no water-drawing ceremony, Jesus said in effect, "You've been going to the pool of Siloam to get water all week, but actually you can come to me and freely drink of the waters of salvation. This key part of your religious festival, that's me." A second feature of the Feast of Tabernacles was light. Imagine you live in a time when the sun goes down, it's dark, and except for some feeble lamps, there's no light. Well, during the Feast of Tabernacles, 4 giant lampstands were placed around the temple. They were about 70 feet tall with giant bowls filled with oil. The light from these lampstands was so bright it was reported that they lit up every courtyard in Jerusalem. This was completely different from a normal nighttime experience that you'd be used to. Think of a Christmas tree lighting ceremony, the magic when the lights go on. That might give us a feel for what people experienced at the Feast of Tabernacles. In John chapter 8, verse 12, which takes place at the end of the feast, Jesus says, "I am the light of the world." Just like with the water, Jesus is taking an element of the Feast of Tabernacles and saying, "This is me." Our third example is the sacrifice or death of animals. More animals were sacrificed at the Feast of Tabernacles than any other festival, including the Passover. Imagine the scene at the temple complex. Animals are being killed, there's blood, it's a very visceral experience. Accompanying the sacrifice, participants would recite psalms that centered on overcoming death. At the Feast of Tabernacles, when death is hanging in the air, Jesus says, "Whoever keeps my word will never see death." Each of these phrases from Jesus is compelling on its own, but they're even more powerful when we see them in context of the Feast of Tabernacles. Just like Jesus was the ladder in Jacob's dream, Jesus replaces key elements of the Feast of Tabernacles. Are you thirsty? Come to me, I've got the living water. Do you need light? No worries, I'm the light of the world. Are you afraid of death? Through me, you're going to have light. To see more videos like this one, simply search Seeking Jesus.